Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Company Voices debates. And as we promised, these are debates which will be brought to you every week just on this platform. The debates will be available on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and all our social media handles. Of course, all the debates are available on these handles, all the handles called Company Voices. And because we love debates, because we love to argue, because we love holding discussions, this is what we'll be doing all this while. So on the panel today, I have some young, amazing people ready to take to go head to head with each other on a very interesting topic here, considering that today is also a very important day, the Labor Day. This is a day that is celebrated across the whole world because of the reasons which are very obvious. So at this moment, allow me to introduce the topic of the day. Very critical, very important topic. We are asking ourselves, or we're just challenging ourselves on this platform. Should the retirement age be lowered to 50 to provide more job opportunities? What do you think? We have proposers and we have opposers for this motion. The proposers of this motion, John Ohisa Oduho and Mercy Vugutsa. The opposers of this motion, Jeremy Atambo and Annette Akoth, I believe they have prepared so well. So the debate will take place in 5 stages. The first stage, we will allow each speaker from each team to give introduction, and that will take a minute for every speaker. The second stage will allow every speaker 4 minutes to give their arguments. The third stage will allow the members of audience to ask their questions to the 2 teams on stage. Then the third stage, that will be now the stage that will allow the speakers to come back on stage and respond to the questions that have been raised. Then the final and the last stage, that is the stage that will allow the speakers 1 minute each to give their closing remarks. And now on stage, allow me welcome the first speaker of the day, and that is from the proposing team. I want to believe it is John Ohisa Oduho or Annette Okoth, and I'll be the proud host of this show, Okoth Opondo, for every week. We'll be hosting the Company Voices debate. Who is the first speaker from the proposing team? That should be Annette Akoth. Annette Akoth, the stage is yours. You can unmute.
My name is Annette Easter Akoth, and I greatly oppose the motion that states retirement age should be lowered to 50 years old to create more job opportunities. Retirement age is the age one is supposed to permanently leave the workforce, and job opportunity refers to the chance for employment. The lowering of retirement age to 50 years old will be good news and a dream come true to non-experts. And let's say the layman, since the jobless will finally get a chance to get a public service job that is permanent and pensionable. But the question is, are we evaluating the right problem with the right solution? The problem here is joblessness, not retirement age. And let's take a snippet on the calculation on the right age for retirement. When one reaches 45 years old, he or she will feel the importance of making every moment count. Even with family to support, the money will depreciate as the time appreciates. Find the point where the line will intersect and you will find the ideal retirement age, which is obviously above 50 years old.
Thank you, Annette.
Thank you.
We'll come back to you. Thank you so much, Annette. So we go to the first speaker, the opposing team.
I will gladly propose the motion and tell you that retirement age should indeed be lowered to 50 years old. Why am I saying this? It is because I'm tired of going to school, having to get my degree and tarmac for several years, just because people who are aged are taking up the job opportunities at work. They've had their time to accumulate their wealth. They've had their time to set up their foundation. I believe it is time to give the youth also an opportunity to set up their own foundation. I will propose this motion and I will give you a policy from the proposition side. To begin with, first we have a phased retirement at 50 years old, then we have full retirement at the age of 55. These 5 years will give the person who's retiring, an opportunity to have a smooth transition into the retirement age and as well train the incoming person into that opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. we go to the second speaker, the first team, and the proposing team. That should be John Ohisa Oduho.
Yes, it is a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. So I propose a motion fully in that surely if we're talking about the fact that every year there is a certain amount of young people who are getting into the workforce, who are skilled, who are educated, and at the same time, you see, it only makes logical sense that there has to be a proportional number, of people who are leaving the workforce every year. Now, in itself, we're not claiming that it is a solution. It is an ultimate solution to unemployment. However, it is a contribution to the solution to solving, to the solution of unemployment. And that is now the basis on which we greatly propose this motion.
Thank you. That was very brief, and in a way, maybe you are working also to compensate for the time lost by the first speaker from your side. So we go to the second speaker, second team. That should be Mr. Jeremy Atambo.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Jeremy Atambo. I'm a current major doing international relations, diplomacy, peace and security at Daystar University. Yes, I really like this motion, and it's one that I hold very dear to my heart, about the retirement age. And what I can say is that change happens one person at a time. Let us strive for change. I also wish for a fruitful debate. Let us also be conscious in our words. Let us be sensible in what we put across. And it will be us shooting ourselves in the foot if we lower our retirement age from the current 60 years old of age. Thank you very much. I'd like to yield the floor back to the chair.
Thank you. And at this stage, the speakers have been given an opportunity to give the introductory remarks. And just picking from where Tambo has left it, that we should be kind to each other with words. That is very important. But even as we seek to lower the retirement age, let's display a very high level of IQ in this debate. So the next stage, each speaker will have 4 minutes to give his or her arguments. So we go with the first speaker, the first team. That should be Massive Gutsa, the proposing team. You have 4 minutes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am supporting the motion that retirement age should be lowered to 50 years old to create more job opportunities for those who are jobless. And as I stated earlier, our policy is along the lines of phased retirement at the age of 50 years old, and full retirement comes at the age of 55 years old. The purpose of this transition period is so that we've had so many impacts of the mental health for people who've retired after the age of 60. And so far, we want to cover that bridge, that gap, and we want to enable them to have a smooth transition from the work life into the other life that has no work, that is. So first, the phased retirement will help the person who's actually retiring, and at the same time will help this person who's coming out of school to be able to adjust to the current situation or to the current job that is going on, to be mentored so that they can actually carry out their work to the utmost perfection. The benefits of lowering this retirement age is, one, creation of job opportunities. This does not only happen in the positions that have been vacated, but also in the opportunities that will be created through entrepreneurship. First of all, we have an example of people who practice medicine, right? The first thing that many of these medical people have been able to set up is clinics. Clinics have been set up approximately by people over the age of 45 years old because they've gained enough experience, they've gained enough time, and they've gained enough knowledge for them to be able to mentor, consult, and at the same time carry their own medical practice. So these clinics, what will they do? They'll create job opportunities, isn't that right? This person has already retired from work and they've come up with a business of their own, and they are now employing people into those clinics of theirs. Isn't that job creation? Isn't that what we actually want? And they've been able to amount enough funds for them to actually start up this business of theirs, because before you start a business, you need funds. And these funds have been accumulated through their 20 years or 25 years or even 30 years of being in the workforce. So first, When they retire at the age of 50, they have enough funds to start a business. And at the same time, they're creating opportunities, not only the ones they've left vacant, but at the same time, the ones that they are creating. And as we can agree, that is actually a very big step to change. Then second, we have depopulating the urban areas. Right now, I come from Mombasa and I come to Nairobi to study. In Nairobi, it is congested with students, with people looking for jobs, with people who are trying to survive in this world, because where are jobs found? They are found in the urban areas. When these people retire, where do they go? They go to the rural areas. When they go to the rural areas, they develop those rural areas. According to the facts we've already gathered, almost every single person that has retired so far, they've gone to live in their rural areas. And in those rural areas, they've been able to work on their farms. Isn't that right? When they're working on their farms, they need people to go and help farm. They need people to harvest. They need people to take them to the market. And at the same time, they need people to sell those produce on their behalf. Right now, we are facing so much of the food production crisis. And how are we supposed to cater for this if everyone is still working? If everyone is doing these white collar jobs? When these old people get to go, when they're 50 years and above and they have an opportunity to go and live in the rural areas, they'll figure something out to do, right? Because they can't just sit on their chairs and wait for someone to give them food. No, when they're there, they will work on their farms and they'll create opportunities. And at the same time, they will make these rural areas urbanized. Isn't that true? More industries will come up, more farm produce will be produced for the nation. It's a win-win situation. I do not get why we are opposing this motion. So, and to finalize, I would like to say that all the people, when we make the retirement age at 50 years old, we're giving an opportunity to people who actually need these jobs to get them. These others have been able to amass enough wealth for them to work in these industries. So I believe it is a time for them to create more opportunities and not just continue working for others. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. That was good. That was good. 4 minutes, 11 seconds. A very good trial for a start. Let's go to the first. We head to the first speaker. First speaker, the opposing side. Is that Annette Akoth or Jeremy Atambo? One of you. First speaker, the opposing side. Is it Jeremy Atambo or Annette Akoth?
I think I'll go first, Opondo.
Okay.
Okay. Good day again to the audience back at home and the viewers in the studio. My fellow debaters put across some very serious points. However, before I put my points across, I'd like to go to the pros and cons of lowering the retirement age. We have, on the pro side, we have that you'll have the opportunities to travel since you'll have retired, and also venture into new businesses and opportunities. However, on the cons, there is strains on saving and financial stability, and there are also depressing effects and adverse effects on mental health. For those who have studied the law keenly, you will agree that the statutory minimum age of 60 years, that is in Kenya, is actually aiding in the protection of older workers. This means that until 60 years of age, employers are not allowed to retire or dismiss any worker on the account of their age. Yes, let's look at two scenarios. Let's look at a company level. In a company that removes the retirement age from its HR policy documents, you might find that the workers are very happy. They're happy because this company has made a commitment that it will not retire any employee at any age. But if you look at it on a national level, any omission of this retirement age in the law is terrible because any employer can retire any worker at any age. But if we bring it down to this scenario, when the retirement age of the civil servants is lowered, it means that the employer can retire any worker at any age. And this causes trouble as it may raise unemployment levels. Besides considering the workers' wishes, we must also understand what employers want. One reason as to why states like Singapore have managed to keep the employment rates high and the unemployment rates low is due to labor market flexibility. This flexibility ultimately benefits workers as it does not discourage any employers from hiring them. This system works And additionally, it's pro-worker and it's also pro-employer. In Kenya, however, it has been very hard to move on these issues due to issues such as division and due to issues such as distrust. This prevents people on focusing on the future, and we have kept on harping on the past. We will hear Kenyans saying, oh, certain changes shouldn't have been made, oh, we're feeling oppressed, and this is false. The sad reality is that we're still stuck on matters that occurred over 5 years ago, matters that occurred over 10 years ago, and we must try to stop, we must avoid playing this blame game. My last point is on merit over age. If one feels like, and this is an example of a 62-year-old and a 65-year-old, if they feel that they're adequate in the field as compared to a 25 or 30-year-old in the field, let them continue working. Why should we kick them out if they're active? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy Atambo. That was fantastic. And the first speakers from each team already utilized their first the 4 minutes very well in this second stage of the debate. And now we are moving to the second speaker, first team. That should be none other than the Pan-Africanist, the entrepreneur, the businessman, Mr. John Ohisa Udugo. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Yes, so I'll just get straight to it. So, as mentioned before, I'm proposing the age of retirement be lowered, and for the following reasons. First, it is a matter of work-life balance. Okay, so when getting into the empirical studies that have been conducted into this specific subject matter, it has been identified that one is only eligible for pensions upon completing 40 to 45 years of dedicating dedicating this entire time to their career. Okay, and you see, my point is this: you see, during the work life, okay, there is something in management known as work-life balance. You see, which entails, that it's not always work, and it's not always just plain life or play as it may be. And as such, therefore, we're looking at the fact that not human beings today do not the age anticipation as to when people will die. The anticipation is set at 70 to 80. It's never 100 years. Okay, and as such, therefore, it's a basic assumption that if someone has dedicated half of their life towards schooling and working, it would only make sense as a matter of protecting mental health to ensure that these individuals have some time to live their life without having to dedicate it to any organization. Now, moving forward is now the issue of succession. So you see, in management, succession management is very important. The succession of any organization, the continuation of any organization is solely based on how well they've planned for succession. Now, the older folks, are the ones who are to train the younger ones. Okay, so if any, and as such, therefore, if we're talking about continuity of the organization, even beyond the 60 years that has been mentioned, they're not going to be around. Okay, and as such, if we have proper succession plans based on a certain age limit, then we will not only have a smooth transition of leadership within organizations and even government, but also we will have a standard number of individuals leaving the workforce every year, as there is a standard number of a variable number of individuals, of young people who are getting into the workforce every year. Hence, it's just simple logic. There are job opportunities created at the very bottom of the organization, whereby you see everyone has. You see, it's a matter of promoting individuals within their respective ranks. You see, and you cannot do this if there are no individuals who are leaving the workforce. Okay. Now, ultimately, there is the issue of the lump of work fallacy, and I'm confident that you see this is now this is getting into the empirical evidence that is being provided by scholars in the field. And the assumption is that it does not create job opportunities. Now, I agree, but this is why, but not completely, in the sense that it is part of the solution to youth unemployment, and it is in itself not a solution. It is part of the solution to the larger problem of unemployment. Yeah. I believe, so in conclusion, the reason as to why I would like to convince our opposers to support this motion is that, you see, after dedicating one's, majority of one's life to work, it is a matter of considering the fact that, you see, the life expectancy of any state is set clear, you see, and as such, the rest of the time should be left for life. Thank you.
Thank you. That is 3 minutes, 59 seconds. What a timer. Okay, now we head to the second speaker, second team. That is Annette Akoth. The first team, just remind everyone who is watching, the motion of the debate is the retirement age should be lowered to 50 to offer more job opportunities. So John Ohisa Oduho and Massive Gursa are proposing this motion, while Jeremy Atambo and Annette Akoth are opposing this motion. Now to the second speaker, second team, Annette Akoth, 4 minutes.
I still greatly oppose the motion that states retirement age should be lowered to 50 years old to create more job opportunities. Yes, it is a reality that the rate of unemployment is high, but will the reducing of the retirement age to 50 create more job opportunities? The answer is no. So I would like to request Oduo and Mercy to follow me keenly as I illustrate the statistics, because it will be quite ambiguous. So according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, there are 700,000 civil servants, and these we know include the soldiers, include the police, include the teachers, and the government employees. The current population of Kenya, based on the Worldometer elaboration of the latest United Nations, is at 54,730,994. And the population that is supposed to be working, that is aged between 24 and 64, is 38% of the total population. Then the 38% of the total population will give us 20,797,777. For instance, the 700,000 civil servants are laid off jobs. In order to create the job opportunities for the unemployed, we will get 3.36% from the, of the 20,797, of the 20,797,777. Let's take it to before, which is even higher, since the government both overemploys in both the national and the county government. Focusing on the 4% job creation is not a change. I think it is the joke of the year, or maybe it is local thinking. So we can't support the reduction of retirement age to 50, thinking that we'll be creating more job opportunities, which will only lead to 4%. Where will the 96% people go? That is a question that is on you to answer, both Mercy and Oduho. And just another day, the public sector employees used to retire at 55 years old. What happened? The retirement age was pushed to 60 due to high pension demand. What will happen if it is lowered to 50? Come to think of it. Then the productivity age will not fall with age. So thinking that the employment of the young, of the youth, and retirement of the old and employment of the young will lead to productivity. It will not. And also the question is not on the retirement age. The question should be on joblessness. And in order to reduce the level of joblessness in the country, my point of view is to increase the economy, to improve the economy of the country. That is the only solution to the decrease of the rate of joblessness in the country. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly. And that was super smart, because Annette has posed some very important questions here, and I hope the opponents will get an opportunity. Maybe we'll take some of their seconds in the next segment to respond to some of these, the concern that Annette has raised. So the question is, lowering the retirement age to 50. Is it going to increase more job opportunities, or just like we're not doing anything at all? At this moment and this stage, I'll allow the members of the audience to pose any questions in case they have any specific question to any specific debaters or to a specific team. And the first hand that has been raised is...
My question goes to Mr. Odugo. I had him touch on mental health. So I'd like him to expound more on how does reducing the age of retirement contribute to mental health, better mental health? And if possible, can he provide us with some facts or figures to support that? Thank you.
Yeah, so my question will go to maybe the ones that are opposing the motion. I've not heard them talk about, probably, you see, my logic that even if people retire at 50, it means that again we are displacing these people that were supposed to be earning. So where do these people that are at 50 are supposed to be our parents go? So does it mean that now our parents will become jobless and now us to get the jobs? So what are some of the other mechanisms that they may be putting in place to ensure that we have a smooth transition, so that it's not that nanyang'anya Opondo kazi, nipatie Osana akipata, Opondo anakuwa displaced. So I think that is the logic that they're trying to put across. So maybe asking if they can suggest a better term to curb unemployment, and maybe better analogies that they can sell to us.
Thank you. Okay, now at this stage, we'll go to the next stage. That is the session of responding to these questions. And each team here has 3 minutes to respond to the questions that have been given. Remember, 3 minutes for a team, not 3 minutes for a speaker. So team 1, speaker, you can choose, you have an opportunity of either taking it 1 minute, 30 seconds each, or just going 3 minutes, one person. Is up to you to decide, Dovisa and Massive Bursa. And I think majority are still struggling to know how reducing the retirement age to 50 will create more job opportunities. I know that is something that most people really want to understand. I hope you'll be able to cover it in this section, and even probably the next section will giving you a closing remark. Johnny, are you going?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Okay, there are 2 specific questions that were posed to me, and the first one was in regards to building expertise. The building expertise is necessary for organizations, and how that will transpire beyond, if the age of retirement is set at 50. I would answer that simply and say that it is a process that is continuous. It's something that it doesn't stop or begin at any point after the organization has begun. Succession management is something that transpires throughout the organizational life. And as such, building expertise, knowledge transfer, and technical transfer is something that happens within the work life. And the other question was regarding the issue of mental health that was posed by Doloman. Now, there is evidence that states that indeed retiring, early retirement in this instance, improves mental health, whereby it is stated that for the retiree, it's up to 25% reduction, and as such, even for the partner as well. But as such, you see, it's a matter of logic. For example, at the age of 50, ideally someone is a grandparent. Okay, and in this instance, at that age, also retiring, providing them will improve mental health, given that now they can take time and even spend time with their family, get to interact with their young grandchildren or such. Now, I won't go any further. I will yield the rest of my time to Mercy so that she may answer the rest of her questions.
Okay, Mercy, you have
First
1
of
minute.
all, I would like to give the statistics. I would like to give the statistics that back up the fact that at the age of 50 is the best age to start a business, and it is the most stable business. According to the Census Bureau and MIT professors, as well as entrepreneurs.com, they have studied and they have come up with the solution that people at the age of 50 produce the best workforce and at the same time are the best people to handle entrepreneurship because they've had experience and they've had the time to do it. My worthy opponent asked the question that if 4% of job creation is good enough, well, I will tell you 4% is better than 0%. 4% is a step to greatness. Just a change of 4% can make a difference. And at the same time, how exactly, I wanted to ask the opposition team, how exactly do we create economy? Because you said that the solution to unemployment is to better the economy. How exactly do you propose we do that? I support this motion by saying creation of jobs will be by people who retire. They'll come up with businesses and create job opportunities. And at the same time, these people who have retired will create a vacancy in their position and create a job opportunity for someone to come and take over. That is, the older will get promoted and the younger will get to the lower positions. They've been employed and they're working, less unemployment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Mercy, you believe that better have a loaf than none. If 4% are getting the job, we should not be worried about the 96%.
Do not misconstrue.
Yes, I can give some of my seconds. I can give some of my seconds, maybe, if I got you right, just for clarification.
No, I said 4% is better than 0%. Between 0% getting job opportunities and 4% getting job opportunities, I believe the 96 will, like, we said that lowering the retirement age is just a step to curbing unemployment. It is part of the solution. It is not the ultimate solution. So as we are coming up with other solutions to curb unemployment, we have come up with lowering retirement to help this 4% get jobs as we work on the 96%.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's go to the last stage. Unless, okay, of which I think I can give the latitude. Would you like to cross-examine each other at this stage? Maybe I can give you 2 to 4 minutes, maybe just trying to, maybe Ohisa, if there's anything that you'd like to make these people understand, at the same time also do a jump on your team.
Yes, very much so. I would like them to honestly accept that as much as, yes, indeed, it is not the solution to the problem, that it is part of the solution to the problem of unemployment. But they should also be able to convince us that if indeed it does not create more job opportunities, then how will these new job opportunities be created? Yeah, this is something that they must be able to answer if they are to convince us that indeed lowering the threshold will not create job opportunities, of which we greatly disagree. We're simply of the notion that, you see, lowering this age, and there are several assumptions here that are very important. There are unemployment benefits that are ideally exclusive to the older unemployed and also to the younger unemployed. The level of development in the jurisdiction concerned matters. So, for example, if someone were to ask whether this would be implemented in Kenya, I would say no, and hence I would be able to even concur with the opposers. However, these assumptions must be clearly identified, put clearly on the table, so that we may get to understand what are the specific circumstances in which this would work or it would not work. Thank you.
Okay. Jeremy Atambo?
Okay, just to answer that, look at countries like Libya, look at countries like Singapore, who have raised their retirement age and re-employment ages to 65 and 70 respectively. They're doing far much better than us, and that is a fact. What we suggest is not to do away with these older workers completely, but rather we should focus in skills upgrades, and we should focus in job redesigning and make them have a purpose when they're coming back to work for us, hence creating more and more job opportunities for the youth in their former positions. Thank you very much.
Mercy Gugursa?
Just a simple question. When people, not a question, to be honest, you see, when we are effecting change, we do not effect change 100%. When we go for a coup and we overtake the president, we do not expect the new one to make 100% change. We expect him to make our lives better than the last. Retirement at 50 will help us reduce the rate of unemployment, maybe 4%, maybe even 0.5%. But at the same time, it is change, it is progress. And that is exactly what we want as a nation, progress, to see change happening. And if you come and tell me that change won't happen when we lower the retirement age to 50 years old, you've literally not said anything, because at the age of 60 years, people still retire at the age of 60 and they still create vacancies in their jobs, right? And at the age of 60, maybe most of them have not even created an opportunity for themselves to actually make a difference. They have not made a retirement plan for themselves, right? So why are we saying when we retire at 50, you have the energy to start up a business? And as I have told you, at the age of 50, you actually have an opportunity to make something better out of yourself, because you've had enough wisdom to actually make something out of yourself. So business at 50 is better. So when we create an opportunity for them to retire, we create an opportunity for them to actually get into the entrepreneurship business. And if they do that, they create jobs. As in, I don't get why we are refusing what is clearly in front of us. Jobs are being created. Let us agree. Thank you.
Okay, Annette?
I'm so much concerned about the job creation. According to Standard Media, more than 50,000 students graduate every year. And according to the same Standard Media, every year an estimate of 20,000 civil servants retire. Every person's dream is to get a job that is payable and later pensionable. We have said that 50,000 students graduate, yet only 20,000 retire. Where will the 30,000 go? That's another question. And Kenya's competitiveness is held back mostly by corruption, and corruption also affects employment. And how sure are we that the opportunities created for jobs will be absorbed by the correct people? We know the state of the country when it comes to corruption. How sure are we? Convince me. And also, I think if the country would grow faster enough and the population grow not as fast, there will be enough job opportunities without retiring people early. So let us focus on the economic growth, not early retirement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So with the same, I would like to extend the same generosity just to two members of the audience. And this generosity, I'm extending it because I'm saying sorry for running away during the meeting and coming back and running away again. So should that happen again, I'll extend the same generosity. But let me go straight to the members of the audience. Not any question now, but any of your comment or maybe on some of the questions and concerns that have been raised here. What would you like to comment about? Wilder, before coming back to the debaters now just prepare to give you a minute each to give your winding statements before we call it a day. Wilder, your hand is up. Who is next? Let me see the next person before I pick Wilder. Who next wants to give any comment? Okay, OJ Optimus. So we go to Wilder, then come to OJ Optimus. Wilder?
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity.
And
now this motion was the best. What I really expected in this motion is to be maximum citation of figures and facts, where I expected both sides could have done very thorough research, especially on the proposition side, because this motion was not favoring your side. So I expected figures, citations from your side. Yet on the opposite side, you have tried, especially Annette Okoth, you really did a very thorough and amicable research, which I applaud that. And all speakers were just great. Thank you.
Thank you so much, OJ Optimus. Your comment on the topic, then the speakers to give their closing statement.
So first of all, I'm very much impressed. But I think I won't say much. But the reason I'm smiling, it's because of the lady, Annette Akop, the way she is articulating her points. She has the figures, she has the researches. You see, when you come to debate, it's not a matter of kujitetea, but it's a matter of enlightening people and giving people maybe strategies, what you think. When the other team was telling us that you see people are above 50, I was not getting the logic. To me, they were trying to maybe displace people to give other people opportunities, but they're not giving us a solution. As in, not every parent. My father right now is at 50, but he has never been to a business class. He has no entrepreneurial skills. So how will somebody like my father, that's a farmer from Kisi, start venturing into entrepreneurship? So they were not probably moderate on other factors because not everybody is born na mambo ya kuwa maybe akona business ideas. They did not give us maybe what is the current state of our unemployment status in Kenya. What is our GDP? What is the amount of maybe watu ambao are maybe looking for job? How watu wazee ni wangapi? So to me, it was not so bad for them. But I think Annette has really done awesome. She's given us facts, not just Vitetea, but she's given us formulations and options that are workable. Because if you could listen to her speak, you could see the sense. Not saying that the other team did not give sense, but all in all, they really did well. Really did well for today.
Thank you. So before they give their closing remarks, I want you all, let's do this. Let's try this if it's possible. Unmute. Kindly all unmute. I want us to do something because hear your voices. Just unmute all your mics. Dolaman, Michelle Atieno, Lord Lucius, Pastor. If you can unmute, let's together clap for each other. Let's clap for all the debaters working on line. No, these claps can come out. If I see someone slapping his head, simply Thank you so much. So, to the last segment of this debate, this could be a moment for you to convince us why you believe lowering the retirement age to 50 years of age will address an employment issue. So we'll start with the proposing side, the first speaker proposing side, your closing remark on this same topic. That should be there. No, John Ohisa Oduho. And Oduho is, okay, Oduho is here. Go on.
Yeah, so time. It was very difficult to get every single point put across in this specific forum because of the fact that we're starved of time. But nonetheless, the issue of unemployment and retirement age, it is not static. It is not a simple yes or no answer. There are assumptions that are being made that one, corruption is not happening. And if corruption was not rife, for example, here in Kenya, then I believe what the conclusions that our opposers have drawn, even up to now, would be different. Because you see, if we're talking about a country where a proper welfare system is in place, whereby the old are clearly receiving unemployment benefits for having contributed the majority of their life towards careers that develop the nation. Now, and of course, if anything but a mere suggestion, we need to increase the time for submission of arguments, because then I believe we would have very different sentiments from members of our audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. John Ohisa Oduho. This being the first thing that we are doing, we are going to look into that. Kujitetea nayo. First, okay, to the next speaker from the opposing side, that should be Jeremy Tambo.
Yes, it is. I do agree that putting out all our points was difficult during this timed session. However, allow me to oppose that instead of lowering the retirement age, we should rather raise it. Why? Because firstly, it is still relevant, and more people should enjoy more years of good work and good health, and they should also remain productive well into their 60s. Secondly, a higher retirement age will motivate both workers and employers to invest in skills upgrading, as I had mentioned before, and also job redesigning. When it comes to the re-employment age, I support this as it is also quite relevant, And in fact, it should be raised from the current age of 60 to 65, because most eligible workers get re-employed in their old jobs and they keep getting the same old pay. Let us change the narrative. Let us change this motion, and it should be about raising the employment age, the retiring age and the re-employment age. Thank you very much.
Thank you very kindly. And in fact, you've answered Derek Were's question. He had posted a question in the inbox, though I did not read it, but you've already addressed it, because he was asking, if not 50, then which age? And if that age, then why? Thank you so much, Atambo.
Unemployment rate, according to statistics on Kenya, 2017, it was 2.7%, 2018, it was 2.64%, 2019, it was 2.64%, and 2020, it was 2.65%. I don't want to leave Oduo and Mercy in a state of panic. I want to give you a solution. Driver of economic growth is private sector. Let us not focus on the reduction of the retirement age. We have youths who are unemployed. We have many people who are unemployed. By improving the private sectors, many will be employed. And this is by helping the Kenyans to build on the new enterprises. Yeah, let us focus on that and not focusing on the reduction of the retirement age. Thank you.
Retirement age will be lowered 50 years to create more job opportunities. And the very first thing we said was that it might not be a solution, like the standard solution, but it is part of the bigger solution. And the only thing we want to see is our country moving forward. Isn't that right? And our country moving forward is our youth getting jobs. Annette asked a question saying, where will the other 30,000 people who come out of the universities go? Well, this 30,000 will take up the jobs that are left when we lower the retirement age to 50 years. You get, like when we lower, more people leave the workforce and more people join the workforce. So it's kind of a continuous flow in the workforce system that comes about when you lower the retirement age to 50 years. All we want is continuation. Even if there's corruption, not saying that I'm for it, but even if there's corruption, there is a way that people who are unemployed will be employed. Those vacancies that have been created will be filled by people who didn't have jobs. And if at all they achieved those job opportunities through corruption, the jobs they left when they were joining this new organization will be filled by someone else. All in all, we are reducing unemployment by lowering the retirement age to 50 years old. Thank you.
You can all now unmute and clap for each other, because I see you all want to do that. Just unmute.
I have a last point. Last point.
Kindly just unmute and clap for each other. We've already given our closing statements. Please just clap for each other. That is very important. Thank you so much for the proposing team putting your points together. John Ohisa Oduho and Mercy Vugursa. Just trying to imagine how these platforms are working and the confusion that is coming, and you have to reach out to each other and do all these preparations. Asanteni sana and all the best in your future in debating. Jeremy Atambo and Annette Akot, thank you. Annette, the members of the audience have been very kind to you. You look like you're really prepared for this this day. And then let me say congratulations. Consider that you're also joining us as the youngest debater on this panel. Congratulations a lot. And to everyone who managed to tune in to be with us on this panel, that is OJ Optimus, Asante Sana Karibu Tena, Christine Musando, Asante Sana Karibu Tena. John Luhiri, we've not seen your face, but we are happy you are here. Dolaman Fatinato, Josephine Flora, Gilbert Stark, Wilda, we had Ruth Akot before, with Derek Quere, Boaz Ogala, who all disappeared. And fuck, Mercy kindly have some mercy on me. You know, the moment Annette spoke, I thought that we are done. And anyway, to everyone who is viewing, should the retirement age be lowered to 50 to create more opportunities? What do you think? We'll leave this discussion to you. See you again next time. I've been your host for this Campi Voices debate. God open. Goodbye.